Hello, I'm new to cEDH, but I was wondering, is there a tech video or guide online to that Mardu, Tymna and rograkh deck? I've been waiting to make a deck with those two, but I haven't been able to find much info. There's gotta be some content creator that made a deck tech video of this thing. Tymna, rograkh. Hey, would you look at that? The 99 have made a deck tech video. A better rograkh and Tymna turbo to hellbent with Sire of Insanity. That sounds like fun. However, we're looking for something that is Tymna, rograkh, Mardu, Oddnos. And this is probably a great deck, probably a great stacks deck. The 99 usually makes some great stuff. So let's keep looking. Here's my gameplay of the deck in question. Here is my gameplay of the deck in question. Here is a deck that is not the same thing. Are there no rograkh Tymna deck techs on Oddnosium? That sounds weird. Are there no deck tech videos out there for Tymna, rograkh, Mardu, Oddnosium? I mean, there's gotta be one content creator that usually make deck tech videos that might be able to bring something like that. Who? There's gotta be someone. Alright, silly me, all jokes aside, hi and welcome to a serious, I promise, deck tech video for Tymna, rograkh and Oddnosium, basically the old school Tymna Mardu Farm. However, this question is asking for information that exists online, and I always try to answer questions in the way that they are asked, so that YouTube search was pure spontaneous. I didn't know that I was gonna find the 99's deck tech, which I actually think is something you could look like, that is an alternative to the farm style. But there is one more place that I would highly recommend that you could look at too. This is the Turbo Farm Discord, and there's gonna be a link in the description below to this Discord. And here you can find a bunch of people that are basically chatting about Turbo Farm strategies, and here you can find Tymna and Absen, Mardu, Sunscreen, and well, you can find basically all sort of stuff like Grixis, Yun, Sultai. You can chat about people that are exactly brewing this specific strategy, and you can find here deck lists. However, most of them are actually Rog Celia's Grixis variant, but I'm sure you're gonna be able to find something. Now here comes a big disclaimer. This isn't actually a deck that I'm playing myself, because this isn't really my style. I usually go for other farm strategies like Thrasius Vile Smasher, Thrasius and Tymna, or Crom and Tymna, and maybe even Kenrith. And even Gollus. Those are more in tune with what I usually like to play. However, I've actually gone up against this deck quite a lot, so I do know a thing or two about it. So let's begin with the basics. This is a deck that is trying to win with a one card combo assembler, either Oddnosium, that's going to draw a whole bunch of cards, Peer into the Abyss, that is also going to draw a whole bunch of cards, or sometimes even Necro, that is also capable of drawing a whole bunch of cards if we have life enough. And with a bunch of cards in your hand, you're going to figure out something. And that's something, that finisher, could vary. Basically, your creativity sets the limit. This is something you could actually go for. Sickening Dreams together with the Angel's Grace. You're going to discard your entire hand, and you're going to deal damage equal to that hand size to all players. Really important you cast Angel's Grace before that, so you actually survive yourself. But this is a way to basically board wipe all players but yourself. Another possible finisher you could also go for is something of this, and this is also some form of combo that you could go for besides the typical Necro, Oddnos, and Peer into the Abyss. So you cast your Dockside, you gain a whole bunch of mana, you cast Cloudstone Curio, then you cast your rograkh for only 0 mana, that's great, and you return your Dockside back to your hand, then you recast Dockside, bounce rograkh, and you gain infinite treasures. Now you do need a little bit more, because you don't win the game with infinite mana with this command combination, but if you have a Skull Clamp in play, you can equip Skull Clamp to rograkh and basically draw your entire deck, because rograkh is going back to the command zone where you recast him with infinite mana and then basically re-equip it with Skull Clamp again. Or use Mayhem Devil to basically deal infinite damage with your infinite treasures. But once again, once you've drawn a big portion of your deck, you're going to figure something out. You're going to draw into fast mana, some tutors, and basically solve the puzzle. Because of that, you want to have a really high density of rituals, fast mana, that's going to gain you speed, and that's what you're going for, speed. You want to ritual out your Oddnosium or Peer into the Abyss as fast as you can, draw a whole bunch of cards, draw into more fast mana and rituals, and some tutors, assemble some form of combo, and win the game. That is the basic win con and game plan for this deck. And that makes for a great opportunity to actually explain why we are playing a 0 mana cost commander that is a 0-1 with some weird, wacky, useless abilities. You see, we are playing it to sacrifice it for more ritual speed. Culling the Weak basically becomes consistently 1 black mana to gain 4 black mana. The Kobold also activates Deflecting Swat once you have your turn 1 and turns Mox Amber into a Mox Ruby. That's pretty good. Besides that, he doesn't do much, but that is where Tymna comes into great use. And this is where you need to balance your deck and where the deck can also be tweaked depending on what form of metagame you're going for. You could focus more on rituals that's gonna exploit rograkh to gain more speed with your Oddnos, or you focus more on creatures, hate bears that aren't really helping your win con with the Oddnos and stuff, but they are helping you draw more cards with Tymna. And nothing is wrong here. It comes down to what you believe is gonna give you the better win ratio versus your opponents that you're usually going up against. But don't go overboard. If you're putting too many expensive stacks creatures in your deck, you might end up with a little bit too expensive CMC ratio that's gonna make it hard for your ad nauseam to dig through your deck. You wanna find some cheaper creatures on a lower CMC that might be useful but won't hurt your main win con. Now, I'm not saying that Alms Collector and the expensive stacked creatures are bad, it is just not what this deck wanna have in it. It's gonna make it into a different kind of deck. And that isn't wrong, it is just a different kind of deck. Now let's explain Necropotence. That is creating a secondary name, Mardu Turns. Final Fortune and Chance of Glory are solving one of the many problems with Necropotence. Necropotence is a great card that can draw cards equal to the amount of life you have. It doesn't care about the CMC cost, it basically just puts them directly into your hand. However, you have to pass turn as you draw or you don't draw the cards, you put the cards into your hand at your end step, so you have to discard down to hand size, and you have to calculate the amount of damage your opponents have around the table that they could possibly deal to you to kill you. So you have to stay above that range, and you have to wait an entire turn cycle, which might mean you're going to lose because an opponent could try to win before you, or they could simply just gather interaction and make sure that when you take your turn, they are ready for you. But you are allowed to cast spells in instant speed before discarding to hand size. So cast one of these extra turn spell at instant speed, take an extra turn after this one. This means that you don't need to care about your opponent's creatures that could potentially attack and kill you, so you could easily drop all the way down to 1 life, and that's gonna increase the chance of Necro drawing the cards that you need. That is a great upside, increasing the consistency of this combo. Also, you don't need to worry about opponents untapping and preparing for you. So what you basically do is that you sculpt the perfect hand, and then you take your extra turn and you try to win from that hand. And what is kind of cool with this, and it's also something of a gamble, is that you don't need to have these extra turn spells in your hand, as Necro hopefully might draw into them. Now, because this deck really cares about its life total, as it's using its life total to do some crazy things, I would highly recommend looking into Serra Ascendant, a 1-cost creature that aren't really going to hurt your Oddnos game plan, that is also a creature with flying, some evasion, that you could use with Tymna to draw some cards. Also, and this one might actually be a no-brainer, you're gonna play Opposition Agent. It's a hate bear that you could use with Tymna to draw some cards, but as this is basically a 1-card combo deck, your opponents are usually gonna have a Ad Nauseam inside their deck, so if they cast, let's say, a Demonic Tutor, Vamp Tutor, Gamble, or a Mystical Tutor that could search for their Ad Nauseam, you could respond by casting the Opposition Agent and steal their Ad Nauseam. Don't ask any questions, just put this inside your deck and be happy, okay? But should you play Aven Mind Sensor? That is a question I'm gonna leave you with, because Aven Mind Sensor got flying. That means evasion. It can actually attack through some ground walking blockers and draw cards with Tymna. That could help your form of game plan, and denying search for your opponents, that is pretty good. 3 CMC, that is decent for an odd NOS deck. It's fine. To flash, you can interact with it at instant speed, just like Opposition Agent. Now, Opposition Agent is just way better, but there might be somewhere where you want to have the Aven Mind Sensor in your deck. There's no right and wrong in this one. It depends on how you want your Tymna Rograkh farm deck to be like. But also, there are arguments for not having Aven Mind Sensor in your deck as well. As it is a hate beard, it's a little bit slow, doesn't really help you win the game as a opposition engine starter, so you could be greedy and view Aven Mind Sensor as a little bit too weak. Totally up to you. The last thing I would like to mention to all of you who are watching is that you have to respect this deck. The speed the rograkh is bringing you is really scary. It could easily put into play an ad nauseam at turn 2 or appear into the abyss somewhere turn 3. That is something you have to respect, and it can also pivot into more of a grindy game plan if the ad nauseam strategy fails with some card draw with Tymna, beats and hate bears. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and you wanna support me, feel free to share my videos or even checking out my Patreon page. Also, purchasing cards from the TCG Players website using the affiliate link in the description below of the video will also help the channel grow. So a big thank you to all of you.